Hey everybody, Tentacle Tech here, and today I wanted to teach you how to make stir fry. The great thing about stir fry is that you can really sort of use any like vegetables and meat and whatever that you have in your fridge. I'm going to be using mushrooms and broccoli today, and it sort of ends up, this particular stir fry sort of ends up tasting like beef and broccoli, which is pretty yummy in my opinion. So here we go. So here are the ingredients that I'm using. So you can see that I've diced up the onion. If you'd like to see how I dice up my onion, check out my garlic butter broccoli video. I'll make it appear over here, and I show you how to dice the onion like that. It's a really good technique that I learned from my father-in-law. And then for the broccoli, you just want to make sure that it's cut up into relatively smaller, even pieces. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. It's just that you don't want any ginormous pieces in there, because if you get ginormous pieces in there, they're not going to cook at the same rate as the smaller pieces, and then you'll end up with uncooked broccoli and overcooked broccoli, and it's a mess. And then the mushrooms, I just take straight out of the container and pour them in there. You can chop them up smaller if you want, but a nice kick of mushroom is always yummy. And then finally, the green onion is really nice. One of the cool things about green onion is once you buy some from the store, you can take the green onion and you can put it in water, or actually plant it and then like water it regularly, and then you can have your own green onion plant. So these are actually cut straight from my own green onion plant. All right, so now we're gonna get the wok. Before you put anything in, you wanna preheat your wok, and I have mine up at about an 8 out of 10. And the way that you'll know that it's ready is you just get your hand wet with some water and spritz a little bit, and you see that little sizzle that you get? That means it's ready. So now we're gonna add olive oil.
So in goes the olive oil, and this olive oil always scares me because it doesn't have a little like pourer. It's just like you're pouring open olive oil, and you just need enough to sort of cover the bottom of the pan. You don't need a whole lot. Then next goes in the onion. So we've got our onion added, and as soon as you add it, you should start hearing that nice. Just make sure to spread your onion around a little bit so that it's covering the entire bottom of the pan. And basically, what you're looking for is, one, the smell. You wanna smell the onion, because that means that it's opening up. And two, the color. The olive oil distorts it a little bit, but you'll start to see pieces just slightly brown. And when you see that, that means that it's ready to add more ingredients. But as soon as you start to smell it, you can start adding just a little bit of salt and a little bit of garlic, just to sort of make that like base of flavor.
Okay, so in goes the salt. And you just want to sort of get it around. It doesn't need to be a lot. Just sort of, you know, drizzle it over what you're cooking. All right, and I'm already starting to see some browning on the onion, so that means that we are ready to add the broccoli. The broccoli is gonna go in first. In goes the broccoli. And obviously, your portion size is up to you. The method with which you cook this is gonna be relatively the same. I don't use like timers or anything. I just use the look of it, which I think ultimately is probably a better way to cook.
And what you're waiting for on the broccoli is you want to look at the bottom of the broccoli, and you want to look for that really nice, rich green color starting to open up. So here you can see that that's starting to happen. Now you can add your spices.
So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip the broccoli so that the other side can start cooking. We're not charring our broccoli here. And I'm also gonna add the mushrooms now, so that way we're not waiting on the mushrooms to cook while the broccoli gets overcooked. So we're gonna add in the mushrooms, and how many mushrooms you add in is sort of up to you. I'm just gonna do the whole container because there's not enough left to justify keeping the rest of those mushrooms. And just mix those mushrooms in. Try to get them closer to the bottom so that they're getting more of the heat, since the broccoli's already had a chance to cook. These mushrooms are bigger than usual. I probably should have chopped some of them. All right, now we're gonna add our spices. So just start with salt. And again, just sort of get it around. I'm doing a pretty large portion, so I'm doing a fair bit of salt. You should just be able to sort of see it on the top. Pepper.
same thing, just look for those little black flakes on the top once you sort of get a good mixture of that. I'm gonna add some garlic. And then I'm gonna put some red pepper flakes on, just to give it a little bit of spice. And then we need to get some liquid on this so that we're not charring everything. So I'm gonna add some blue agave for a little bit of sweetness. And it's just like a drizzle. I usually do like back and forth and then up and down. Give it a little bit of liquid. And then finally, the piece de resistance, some teriyaki sauce. And before I stir it, let me show you how much I've put on here. Here's the amount of teriyaki sauce that I've put on, and then you just want to stir it, mix it up. The mushrooms that still have a lot of white on them, try to flip them over and put them toward the bottom of the pan so you get them nice and cooked. See that rich green color that we're getting out of the broccoli now? It's exactly what you want. Just be careful because it's gonna turn overcooked real fast. You really gotta watch broccoli. Be sure to always taste test. Everyone's tastes are a little bit different, so take a taste, see what you think. See if it needs, you know, like more teriyaki. If it has too much teriyaki, hopefully not. It's always better to add less than too much. And that's pretty much done. You've got that bubbly sauciness at the bottom there. That's exactly what you want, so that some of that sauce pours out over the rice that you're gonna get. Everyone's got their own choice, sort of like noodles of like how firm they like their broccoli. Some like it crunchy, some like it, you know, a little bit more mushy. So that's gonna be personal taste, but basically you just want to taste test and you want to see like, okay, like this is a nice crunch for me. Or like if sometimes it'll have like too much of that like raw broccoli taste. You want to cook it a little bit more. So just when you get that right consistency and the flavor tastes right, that's when you want to start. And I have some delicious rice here, and all I do with my rice is salt it and mix in the salt a little bit. And that's because what you're gonna do is you're gonna pour out the ingredients out of the wok so that some of the sauce sort of drips onto the rice, and it's gonna flavor the rice for you. So all you need is just a little bit of salt. So there we have the broccoli and mushrooms poured on top of the rice with all that sauce. You can even see, like, I wiped some of it away, but you can see where like it like even splashed up a little bit because there was enough sauce. That's really the key. And then you're just gonna add your garnish. So to start, you can add some green onion on top just to look nice and pretty and classy. And then what really makes it the ultimate stir-fry weeby deliciousness is you have to garnish it with sesame seeds. Here we go. Ah, yes. Now it's perfect. Delicious. Enjoy.